Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're gonna cover the matches of Sheen and Hakyur, Benimaru and Saoi, and finally we are going to talk about the final match of the tournament, and the match is between Benimaru and Diablo, as both of them has enormous power, so it is hard to tell that who would win this match. And let me tell you that this story belongs to web novel chapter 111 and 114. So, without wasting time, let's jump towards the match of Sheen and Hakyur. So, as Milim announced to start the match, both Hakyur and Sheen was staring at each other and thinking about a plan, as they both knew each other's fighting style, so both of them were trying to figure out how to defeat their opponents. Both Hakyur and Sheen were clashing their swords, just to check out their offense and defense. Their clashes was just like a calm flowing river, and suddenly Hakyur released his fighting spirit and he yelled out loud. At the same time he slashed his sword towards Sheen. After seeing this, Sheen didn't got impatient, she just waited for the right moment to block Hakyur's attack. Usually Sheen is type of person who relies on raw strength and no skills, but while Sheen was fighting with Jirito, she was showing improvement. Now she was relying on skill rather than her raw strength. And seeing this, Hakyur was also happy for her. Coming back to the topic, Sheen was keeping her motion to make a distance from Hakyur, so that she could think a plan for her next move. After that, Sheen was attacking Hakyur continuously according to her tactics, and Hakyur realized that he is the one who is under pressure and not Sheen. It seems like Hakyur's swordsmanship was unable to ward off Sheen's sword attack. Then Hakyur smiled and said to Sheen that she has grown stronger, and he didn't expect her to grow this much with sword skill. At first, Hakyur thought that Sheen acted so recklessly because she died while she was fighting with holy knights, so she was afraid of dying again. But when Hakyur tried to analyze more about Sheen, he realized that Sheen is not afraid of dying, but she had an insecurity of finding herself not useful and being forgotten by Rimuru-sama. This was the reason she used to act recklessly and tries to stand out more than other. But when Sheen realized that Rimuru would never leave any of his companions alone, she gained her calm again and worked out all with her brain. So this was the reason why Sheen was improving. Then Hakyur said that if this time Sheen can stop his sword, he will confer her the full mastery of his art. After this, Hakyur intended to use Badijutsu, and I would like to tell you that Badijutsu is art of drawing sword. The other name for it is Aijutsu. This is a serious sword art where the practitioner draw their sword and return it so fast skillfully without waste a move. A skillful master can use his sword so fast that eyes couldn't see it. Coming back to the topic, when Hakyur was using his Badijutsu, then Hakyur moved so fast that his body figure became indistinct, thin like air, and before Sheen could realize it, Hakyur appeared in front of Sheen, and his glazing blade was flung towards Sheen's neck, as if it would cut her into pieces. But immediately Sheen yelled out loud and said, "Not yet." Then she transformed by utilizing her unique skill, War Goddess Transformation. Actually, when the doubt inside Sheen disappeared, the skill demonification changed into War Goddess Transformation, and it is an ability that purely raises physical power. After using this skill, her body strength was transferred into her soul without any change. However, this skill consumes extreme amount of energy, so it can be used for a long time. In this form, her power was overwhelming and her senses were sharpened, and now she could also see the fast attack of Hakyur. Moreover, she also figured out that Hakyur's katana could not make any damage on her present form. Afterwards, she imposed herself in such a manner so that she could intercept the flowing blade of Hakyur with her sword. Then Sheen's Adachi intercepted the training katana of Hakyur, and as a result his katana was broken into two pieces. Then Sheen took her adachi above her head. She was posing to make a blow towards Hakyur, and at the same moment Milim shouted and said to stop the match. Then Sheen's adachi was blocked by magic sword Tenma, which was under the control of Milim's hand. Then Milim announced Sheen's victory as like nothing has happened. The crowd cheered on Sheen's victory. Actually, Milim stopped the match because she realized that if Hakyur took that slash, he might receive a fatal damage that could not be recovered even with regeneration. This was a serious situation for Hakyur, and Milim understood it by no time. That's why she stopped the match. So, this is how Sheen won the match. Finally, Sheen was happy with her win because she got the chance to show her master how powerful she had become. Now, let's move towards the match of Saoi and Benimaru, and let me tell you that this match was 7th match of the tournament. Back to the topic. When the match started, Saoi, without wasting time, immediately used his strings to immobilize Benimaru, but undoubtedly Benimaru used his flames to burn out the strings. At that moment Saoi understood that his strings are useless against Benimaru, so he quickly dropped this approach. Benimaru's Crimson Tachi crossed with Saoi's twin Ijutsu. Benimaru has turned into a being composed of fire itself, nullifying physical attacks. So Saoi's normal swords could hardly damage Benimaru. On the other hand, Saoi's resistance could not match the overwhelming power of Benimaru's flame. So, this match was under Benimaru's favor. Even if Saoi used his clone, those clones could hardly damage Benimaru. That's why Saoi did not use his clone to attack Benimaru. Rimuru thought that, at Saoi's current rate he will definitely lose, but then, Saoi suddenly disappeared. Actually, Saoi used his clone to divert Benimaru's attention. This whole time it was his clone who was fighting with Benimaru. Saoi hid himself behind his wonderful performance. Then Saoi dashed towards Benimaru and used his unique skill Assassin. And let me tell you that this skill is very hard to defend. The only way to evade this attack is if you know the exact position of the user of the skill, as this skill helps the user to gain lots of speed. That's the power of his skill Assassin. And since it's a direct attack on the spirit, those with untrained spirit will immediately perish. So surely this was Saoi's victory. And then Benimaru shouted and said naive. Then unexpectedly Benimaru managed to hit Saoi, but was trying to attack Benimaru from his blind spot. Actually, Benimaru managed to hit Saoi because of Benimaru's unique skill Generalissimo, which helped Benimaru to spot the exact location of Saoi. Then Benimaru said to Saoi that they were equal in power, but the only thing that decided his victory was because of his unique skill. So this is how Benimaru won against Saoi.
So, now let's jump towards the final match of the tournament, and that is between Benimaru and Diablo. Since both Benimaru and Diablo has enormous power, so it would be hard to tell that who would win the finals, as both Benimaru and Diablo stood in center of the arena facing each other. Seeing Benimaru as his opponent, Diablo's heart was pumping heavily for the first time, as Diablo fought many strong opponents in his spiritual world, but his heart never pumped that hard, but at the same time was joyful because he got a strong opponent. And you guys know that what was the previous name of Diablo? His name was Noir. Back to the topic, Benimaru, while observing Diablo, thought that Diablo is haphazard. Though there are many mutated subordinates of Rimuru, but only Diablo is special. He also thought that his Shien is good at one-on-one fight, even though Diablo overwhelmed Shien by his power, so this match would not be easy for him. Then in response to Sasuke's announcement, Benimaru immediately maintained distance. Then he thought that tricks and lukewarm would be useless. Using his strongest skill with full power would be the best choice to challenge his opponent. Then Benimaru shouted Hell Flare Black Flame Prison. Benimaru released his black flame ball towards Diablo. Diablo didn't move even a single step. The black flame surrounded the whole area near Diablo, as he was at the center of the black flame, and this black flame was released with Benimaru's full power, so it was the successful compression of Hellfire, which had an unparalleled power which cannot be resisted. And just like Benimaru, Diablo also has resistance against natural effects, but it is useless against the nullification attribute of the black flame. Afterwards, Benimaru thought that when the dome is completed his victory would be guaranteed. Suddenly, out of nowhere Diablo appeared in another spot. Then Diablo, in his iconic style, said that Fufufu, if I received this attack it would be dangerous for me. Actually, before that dome of black flame could thoroughly burn him, he used his skill Paradise Time of Allurement, and because of this reason the movement of magic flow was stopped and also the heat was obstructed. Meanwhile, as Diablo saw Benimaru's skill only for a moment, he figured out the detail of the skill and also its countermeasure, and it was because of Diablo's another skill Great Wiseman. And this was the reason why he received his opponent's attack. It was only to reconfirm the results from his analytical appraisal. Moreover, in case of some techniques he could even steal it just by seeing it. Now in the stopped world, Benimaru grumbled at Diablo. Now his first card was sealed, but Benimaru was calm and didn't panic. He was thinking about his new plan. Actually, in this fight Diablo was in better position from the beginning because of his skill that can see through one's mind. If both of them fought only through simple combat, there would be no winner, as both of them had simple slash nullification. A simple slash won't give any damage. Afterwards Benimaru predicted that if Diablo put his ability to use, he would lose this match. Then Diablo laughed and said to Benimaru to stop being pretentious. Diablo added again that Benimaru still has a trump card and Diablo advised him to use it. Then Diablo warned Benimaru that he will die if he won't be serious with his technique. Afterwards Diablo sprinted towards Benimaru and at the same time Diablo said end of world. On the other hand, Benimaru decided that he had no time to think and he released his master sword mart that he learned from his master Hakiru. Stream slash. It is Benimaru's technique. It is a pinnacle technique that can perplex the opponent without being able to grasp its elegant simplicity. Back to the topic. Before Benimaru could use his sword he was under the effect of Diablo's skill. End of world. As a result of Diablo's skill's effect, Benimaru felt extreme pain on his body and he was blown off and rolled over the floor. Diablo's skill was so strong that it penetrated the skill nullification of Benimaru. Afterwards Diablo questioned Benimaru, you still got more do you? Benimaru didn't reply to Diablo. Actually his mind was filled with thought, such as even he could become useful for Rimuru, but still he could not become a complete shield for Rimuru. He also thought that even his sword skill improved a lot, but still he was inferior to Xian in individual fight. In the end, he who specialized in commanding and seeing the whole picture, is he unable to transcend the wall of strength? So, Benimaru was haunted by such anxiety in that moment. After some moments of struggle, Benimaru said to Diablo, "Don't screw around with me." Why? There is a need for this great me to be worried about such a small and unimportant thing. He was furious. Actually, Benimaru possessed a short-tempered personality. He had become more mature and learned patience recently, but there is no way one's initial personality could change so easily. Back to the topic, Benimaru added again, "Stopping is foolish. It's not like me, to worry repetitively is troublesome." He made a breakthrough and stood up again and brandished his sword. After seeing Benimaru's reaction, Diablo laughed lightly and said, "Fufufu, it's Benimaru indeed," and at the same time Diablo took out his scissors-bladed claw. Benimaru said again he won't let Diablo look down on his power, then he released his thick aura. He invoked the demon flame transformation and as a result his body was healed. Then Benimaru fused his thick aura and the black flame into one. Finally, the preparation of his special move was completed. A beautiful dark red aura covered Benimaru's body and at the same time Benimaru replied to Diablo's previous question. "I will be serious next, brace yourself." Both Diablo and Benimaru sprinted towards each other and their weapons clashed. In the first clash Diablo's scissor claw melted as it could not bear the heat of Benimaru's sword. Not only the claw got melted, but also Diablo received a huge damage on his chest and fell down on the floor, defeated. Diablo said, "Fufu, this is the first time I got defeated and it feels too bad." He added again that he never want to feel this bitterness again, and this is how Benimaru won the match. So, this is all for today's video. Thanks for watching guys.